So 2018 is at an end and it's been a great year. It's been fun. I started this channel this year, dropped about 20 something videos. The interesting thing is that my most popular video is the one I did about Kantanka. I still get some comments once in a while, and just to make it clear, I'm not saying you can't or shouldn't or don't buy a Kantanka car. All I'm saying is that as a car manufacturer, they kind of owe us some transparency so that we know what we're getting. So yeah, this is to all you guys who really love that Kantanka video. Thank you. 1,008k views. That's great. So this is the last day, and I'm just gonna do a quick run through of the year, things I found interesting, and I'm gonna do some bests, like some of the few things I found best, and these things kind of tie into other conversations I wanted to have during the course of the year. First thing, the year began and it was pretty cool. The year was fine. Till March, Cambridge Analytica, yeah, that was a big deal. And that caused political entities to realize how powerful technology is, and then they decided to put their eyes on technology now, trying to find a good way to police it. I mean, I'm all for policing technology and everything, but you guys have to do it the right way. Some of these rules that are coming out are pretty good. Others, yeah. When you watch the hearings of Mark Zuckerberg and even Sundar Pichai, when you watch the hearing at Congress, you realize that many of the people in power, those in charge of our politics, don't really understand the inner weavings of technology. They don't really fully comprehend how it works. They just know it works and they can't seem to understand how it works. So they are asking the wrong questions and they are not following up with the right things. And it's even in Ghana, you get to see a lot of projects, interesting projects. And yeah, I've been around. This year has been interesting. I've been around for a bit and I've seen some interesting stuff. I'm not saying that you can't hire someone outside of this country to do a project, a tech project. All I'm saying is that technology is really ingrained with the societal way of assessing things. So if you do not understand the social nuances and the way the people in said society use certain technology, you would not be able to make the best form of tech to suit them. So this is something for you guys in the government to think about. Moving on, Apple became the first company to be valued at $1 trillion. Not anymore. They've lost over 300 and something billion dollars in this last quarter. Has not been great for Apple. Talk about their current issues with Qualcomm and all of that. It's not been great. This last quarter has not been great, but I'm sure they will pick up the pace. I feel like Apple really thought that they'd had the smartphone industry secured and decided to look towards production of other things. So when they just averted their eyes, all these things are happening and they now have to come back, and everything. That's why I feel that's not the only reason why they may be having problems, but that's just what I think. This year we also got foldable displays. I'm one of the few people I know who's interested in foldable displays. Not many people are, but I have a reason. I will talk about my reason for why I like foldable displays later on. Then this year we have the US government versus Huawei /or China. Yeah, the trade wars, everything. It's been an interesting couple of months. This year had so many great pieces of tech. We've seen so many interesting things. I mean, I can't really cover everything because I want this video to be as short as possible. But yeah, we've seen a lot of amazing stuff. But let's jump to my best. So my best. Now you guys know this channel has been filled with things that I like. And that has been a very broad range of things, so I'm gonna jump through some of them. So the first thing, my best album for this year. Now this is interesting. If I'm going to talk about the best album for me, like best in terms of average person consumption of said album and all the people around, the people I know who've listened, and then my personal taste and preferences and everything all together, I feel that Post Malone's Beer Bongs and Bentleys is the best album, followed by Astroworld by Travis Scott. Now the album I've played the most this year is actually Culture 2. I'm a huge Migos fan. I love the Migos. Anybody who knows me knows this. So yeah, best album is Beer Bongs and Bentleys by Post Malone, but my personal most played album is Culture 2, and my most played song for this year is Gang Gang and then 2-player. Next, best movie. Now I don't really have a best movie. I don't know, but I have 3 movies I really enjoyed and that have a high rewatchability value for me. I'm not going to talk about Aquaman yet. I'll talk about that later. But 3 movies in no particular order. First is Upgrade. Upgrade is a beautifully done movie, and the very interesting thing is that the lead guy looks just like Tom Hardy, and if he and Tom Hardy had swapped places in Venom and then Upgrade, they both put together an amazing performance. And with such a B-list movie being so good, the acting was amazing, the plot was great, concept was stunning. I loved Upgrade. It's a movie I've really enjoyed. Next up is Incredibles 2. Now Incredibles 2, maybe it's because of nostalgia reasons what that's so far out for me, but the main reason I enjoyed it is because of the relationship between Edna Mode, Jack, and the raccoon. These 3 just make it amazing. Brad Bird, if you ever do see this video. Moving along, I feel like Jack should or will become a villain. I feel like Incredibles is founded on family ties, so if the greatest challenge that Incredibles or that the family is supposed to face is fighting their own or one of their own who is this powerful, yeah, it would be cool. And I've watched Incredibles enough times, at least 6 times, and looking at Jack, he does have the potential to turn villainous. Finally, my best movie for this year, a movie that I totally enjoyed and loved watching, was Mission Impossible Fallout. I don't need to say anything about the movie. The movie is just amazing. Next up is the best laptop. The best laptop for me is Dell's XPS 13. Some of you may be saying that it's actually the i9 version of the MacBook Pro, but I feel like any laptop that has had as many problems in terms of power caps and everything as the MacBook Pro has had, I feel like, yeah, that's not it. And if you talk about the price, yeah, I feel like the XPS 13 is a better option, cheaper, and does as well. I normally use Mac OS for my edits and stuff. I'm used to it, but I just like the flexibility that Windows affords. And with the Dell XPS 13, I can do all my edits and everything. And if I do decide to play games or do some other stuff, I can. Now, the most interesting piece of tech, or the best piece of tech or gadgets for me this year, I didn't really know how to name this particular category, but I hope I did it well, and I hope you understand. Now, the winner for this category for me is the Apple Watch Series 4. Now, this is the reason why I'm saying this. Smartwatches have been kind of a gimmick, kind of ridiculous. Not even only smartwatches, smartwear in general has not been good. It's been trying to pick up the pace, but it's not doing so great. And the interesting thing is that the Apple Watch series has remained very relevant, has been a very significant, if not the biggest player in the smartwear division, and it's been consistent since the first one, and the 4th one takes everything to another level. And I feel like this is mainly because Apple understands the lifestyle of its users and decided to target the smartwatch or the Apple Watch to their taste and to their lifestyle, and that's cool. And because of that, I give it this, because if you are in an industry that is borderline ridiculous, I mean, there are great stuff in smartwear. I'm not saying that I love smartwear. I'm really interested in seeing it grow, but right now it's not doing so great. But if you as a device have remained very relevant in the mainstream side of tech all this time, even to now, and taking it to another level, yeah, you deserve this. So yeah, staying relevant in an irrelevant, quote unquote, irrelevant industry is the reason why I give it to the Apple Watch 4. So the best tablet, one of the best tablets for this year is definitely the iPad Pro. It's a great tablet, it looks great. It does have its own few problems, the fact that it's running on iOS. Personally, I wouldn't buy an iPad Pro because as a photographer and a videographer, you need to be able to properly manage your files. iOS doesn't have a proper file management system, so that's where it's iffy for me. And because of that, the iPad Pro is a solid device. I've seen reviews of what it can be used for. Stunning, amazing, very powerful device. But the iPad Pro, along with the foldable display, bring to bear certain questions that some of us want answered, and I'll talk about that when I'm talking about my hat. Now, smartphones, the biggest upset in smartphone industry. Everybody knows this. The answer to this is simply the Pocophone F1. We used to think that OnePlus was the flagship killer. It is. That's have that attribute being called the flagship killer, but we didn't know that there could actually be a killer for the flagship killer, and that is in the form of the Pocophone F1. With those specs at that price, amazing, amazing, amazing stuff. However, the best smartphone for this year for me is the Galaxy Note 9. Yes, I'm going to say it. I am very biased towards Samsung. I admit that, but I am going to explain why the Note 9 is the best phone. The Note 9 is basically a culmination of everything Samsung has learned throughout the years. You can tell that the Note 9 is a buffer phone. It's like, because it's a 9th variant and then they're going to do the 10th. And normally during the 10th, there's a whole big anniversary, and then possibly based on the leaks and everything I've seen, there's going to be a significant leap in terms of innovation of this device. But you can tell that Samsung has learned everything from the previous years, and they've put together the perfect phone from all the things they've brought. Fine, it doesn't have an IR blaster, but yes, it's still the perfect phone. I love using the Note 9. I've used it for so long. It does have a few problems, especially when it comes to social media apps like Twitter, Snapchat. It kind of crashes. I mean, it hasn't happened enough for it to be a problem, but it's happened enough for me to notice, and I am actually looking out for these things. The camera app also does crash once in a while, but I feel like with the release of One UI, which is one of the things I'm looking forward to next year, it would be perfectly fine. It will be an amazing device to use. But the Note 9 is great. The S Pen is stunning. I actually put together a final review. Okay, I haven't put it, I got all the shots, kind of making an interesting new type of video, but you know, having to work and earn a living and then doing this, I had to put it aside to get that bread. So with that, I put it aside until I can get the time. But the whole premise was actually based on the fact that I was wondering if you could use the Note 9 solely as your device. That is, between choosing or buying a new laptop, which I've been considering because my laptop broke for about a month, and I was stuck with using the Note 9, and it was splendid. I could do all my edits and everything I could do except video editing. I will talk about that hopefully when I put together that review. That was the only challenge in using, but everything else, editing photos. I have used the Note 9 to take shoots for some clients. They do not know this, now you do, but yeah, I did take some shots on it and I did the editing on it. Now, you may be saying that it's $1,000 phone and it's too expensive. Yes, it is quite expensive, but the thing is that it is worth it for me. Now, some people have always also asked me what I think about the whole $1,000 range of phones now. Now, the first thing I normally say, or I will say about, does it make sense that phones cost over $1,000 now? The answer is simple. They do. There's not much we can do about it. We gave the OEMs the power to price these devices at that value because we paid for them. The first time they came out, we paid and we showed our willingness to buy. So now OEMs understand that the market is capable of dealing with such costs. So they do exist. But for the Note 9 starting at $999, which is the variant I use, it is one of the only $1,000 phones that makes sense to me, because I believe that in paying $1,000 or beyond the range of I could deal with this, because $1,000 is within the range of I really need to think about this. That's the kind of price it is. You realize that I feel like if you're going to pay that amount of money for a device, you should have free reign to customize it whichever way you want. And because maybe I wouldn't be feeling some type of way one day or 2 months later or 3 months later and wanted to look. With a Note 9, you can create a totally new device every time. It has so many cool tricks. If you follow my tips and tricks series, which I had to cut short because, like I said, I need to earn a living as well. So if you check out, there's so many tips and tricks. I found at least 200 interesting things you can do on the Note 9. Very, very, very robust device. Close second to the $1,000 phones that make sense is the Huawei Mate 20 Pro. It looks great. I haven't gotten my hands on it, but it looks great. So that's it. Finally, the best car of the year. Now you're wondering why I'm talking about cars, but I'm a gearhead and I really love cars. I've loved cars for the longest time. And this falls in line with some of the things I want to do next year, moving on in the future, and that's car stuff. And so the best car, or my favorite car for this year, is the Lamborghini Urus, or as my friends normally tell me to say in the Italian, Lamborghini Urus. I hope I sounded like that. Kind of comes off as a bit racist, but yeah. Anyway, that car is amazing. It's a super SUV. It looks stunning. I may do a review about it, but I love that car. 641 horsepower, 192 miles per hour top speed, 0 to 62 miles per hour in 3.6 seconds. These are supercar figures, but it's an SUV, so it's the only Lamborghini that makes sense for you to own in Ghana. So if you're out there and you have a Lamborghini Urus you are not using, or you felt like, I shouldn't have bought this, and you're looking for someone to take care of it for free, I will be very willing to take it off your hands. No charge at all. Maybe duty and clearing, yeah. But apart from that, I will be more than willing to take care of your hands. So what am I looking forward to? Next year, I feel like smartphones need to take it up a notch because, wow, a notch joke. Ha, I'm good. Anyway, I feel like smartphones need to change because there hasn't been that much of a significant change or a radical form of innovation over the past years. This year, or 2018, has recorded some of the least interesting things in smart devices, but also some of the most interesting things, because now the smartphone industry has broadened. So many OEMs are crawling out of the woodwork and they are doing great, amazing stuff. So yeah, the industry has gotten interesting and not so interesting at the same time. But the things I'm looking forward to are definitely all the Galaxy devices, the S10, S10 Lite, all variants of there. Definitely the Note 10. I love the Note series, so I'm definitely looking forward to the Note 10. And also I'm looking forward to the foldable displays. Now if you watched the whole video, you saw what I said about the tablets. Now, tablets are actually in an interesting space right now. Everybody is wondering, or at least I am wondering, should a tablet be a more portable version of a laptop or a larger phone? These are some of the questions that we're going to ask. And the great thing about technology is that every answer works as long as it applies to your use case. So there's no specific answer, they are just answers to this question. And foldable displays are thought as one of these answers, as well as what companies like Google, the Google Slate, iPad, and then the Surface. These devices are answering the question of, and their answer is that a tablet should be a more portable laptop, as powerful as a laptop, but more portable. Now, the foldable displays, and I feel like the biggest players in this foldable display, because of what they do with displays, is Samsung and LG. I feel like they are going to be the biggest players in this industry, but they are saying that if a phone could be bigger, you can get more out of it, but if it could still revert to being a phone, it would be great, and that's where foldable displays come in. Definitely the first iterations of these devices may not be as amazing as we would hope, but in the future it will be great. I'm actually hoping that the Note series absorbs the foldable display, because one of the only problems I've had using the S Pen is surface area to do what I want to do on the Note 9. It's not that big, but imagine if it could fold out. I'll get a bigger space to do anything that I want to do, and that would be amazing. I can fold it back and put it in my pocket. I can use it as a phone, I can use it as a tablet. And with the proper file management system with Samsung DeX, it would be crushing it. So yeah, next thing I'm looking forward to is Ferrari's take on the SUV market, with the Lamborghini Urus coming out already, or it's actually a 2019 variant, that's what we call it. I've actually followed the Lamborghini Urus for years. Since the prototype was displayed in 2012, I have followed the Lamborghini Urus's life cycle, and I have loved that car because it has made sense. The only other Lamborghini I have loved as equal to the Urus is the Lamborghini Estoque. I hope I got it right. I don't know why Lamborghini isn't releasing a four-door version, which is what the Estoque is. It's a four-door super sedan, and all these M5 boys will keep quiet when a car is on the street. Yes, you know who I'm talking about. Spikey, Michael, Obi, all of you in that car group, you know what I'm talking about. If the Estoque hits the streets, the M5 is finished. I'm also looking forward to, or hoping for, a new iMac, because last year was the iMac's 20th anniversary. We didn't get anything. We got a Mac Mini, but we didn't get a new iMac, and I know it has to do with business. I know it has to do with economics because of the existence of the iMac Pro, and getting us a new iMac with a new processor would mean that it could probably be comparable to the iPad Pro, so you will lose sales for the iPad Pro, but we still need a new iMac. It's about time, guys. It's about time. Another thing I'm looking forward to is the Pocophone F2, with the F1 being as interesting and having caught on as well as it did. I feel like the second one would be hopefully great. Unlike in movies, smartphones, normally the sequel is better than the first one. In movies, no. not so much. But yeah, I'm hoping the Pocophone F2 will take a leaf after the first one and do it better. 5G going live. 5G is going live next year in certain places. China is taking this so seriously to the point where they are kind of rolling or cancelling 3G. In Ghana, we are still somewhere at 3.75, unstable 3.75G. Yeah, so 5G. Yeah. The movie I'm looking forward to the most next year is, of course, Avengers Endgame. Everybody's looking forward to that movie. If you follow the Marvel Cinematic Universe as long as I have from the beginning till now, you are definitely looking forward to them tying a neat bow on this group of Avengers, and I feel like it would be a great movie. I hope this is a great movie. Today I actually saw some interesting photos that look like leaks. Quite interesting. And finally, the show I'm looking forward to the most next year, starting tomorrow, is not Game of Thrones. It is the Grand Tour. Yes, I have loved that show. Is my favorite show in the world. All those who know me know this. It is the best show in the world because the big three, Jeremy Clarkson, James May, Richard Hammond, are the best content creators in the world. You can fight me because they are taking something as mundane and niche as cars and they've blown it up to the scale that you don't need to love cars to watch their show. You are gonna have a great time. Now this new season is even more important because it was announced that after 17 years of a certain format of doing things, they are not going to do it that way anymore. And I've been catching up with the old Top Gear, and I'm currently on season 11 right now, but I remember when I got to season 9, episode 1, and then a few days later they made this announcement, and I realized that season 9, episode 1 was when Richard Hammond had that accident with that vehicle that breaks the land speed records, and you can tell that these guys have put blood and sweat. They have put their lives on the line for content, to create amazing content, and these guys have done so much. Especially Richard Hammond, he's been through a lot. That helicopter crash, crashing the Rimac, and all these things. These people have put their lives on the line constantly, and they've grown, and it's about time that they take less risk because their body will probably not be able to handle it. So yes, I am sad that that chapter is going to close, but they still have a deal to do specials, and specials are actually the most exciting things about every season of Top Gear for me, so I'm happy with that. Getting 4 specials in a year is still great for me. I would actually love to fill your shoes, but it's kind of difficult to do this kind of thing in Ghana, but I'm actually looking forward to putting something together, so yeah, let's hope for the best, fingers crossed. So that's it for me this year. I hope you have a wonderful next year. This year, 2018, was an interesting year. Had its fun moments. It wasn't as great as I hoped it would be, but testing those opened for me. Thank you, Joy FM. Thank you, Spikey, Kobe Spikey and Nkrumah. You got me into this with Geek Squad. Thank you, Geek Squad. Thank you to all the people who showed me a lot of support and a lot of love. There's so many mornings I wake up and I'm like, nah, I don't want to do this because I'm not getting the views and the communication I would want with the videos I do, because generally Ghanaians prefer to use their YouTube to watch comedy, relationship stuff, and that's not a problem. But I'm looking forward to pushing my channel even more this coming year and to do the best that I can for you guys and you tech heads out there, to have fun and to have a person you can talk to. I'm actually looking forward to working with a lot more tech people in Ghana. There are so many tech people. The tech community in Ghana is more diverse than you think. I've seen some of the interesting things that people are making. I'm also looking forward to working with some other tech YouTubers. I've seen your videos. I will definitely reach out. So I'm hoping next year will be amazing. I'm hoping my New Year's resolution of owning a Lamborghini Urus, among other things, comes to fruition. And yeah, let's hope for the best. Happy New Year.